Welcome back to the course on Introduction to Solid State Physics. This is the last video for the module crystal structure. In this video we are going to discuss about the experimental geometries which can be used to study the diffraction pattern for a particular solid. We know that from the Laue condition, the diffraction maximum to take place, the change in the wave vector del k should be equal to g. So what does it mean? So del k should be equal to g. So this means that the incident wave vector will lead to a diffraction peak if and only if the tip of this wave vector lies on a k-space Bragg plane. But in general that is not the case if we choose any arbitrary wave vector k. So most of the times it may so happen that this will not lie on a Bragg plane. Therefore, for a fixed wave vector, that means for a fixed wavelength, because the magnitude of k is related with the wavelength as 2 pi by lambda. So if we keep the fixed wave vector with a fixed direction, in general we will not observe any diffraction peak because this condition will not be satisfied. So to scan the particular diffraction regime, what we have to do experimentally, we have to either change the magnitude of the wave vector or change the direction of the wave vector. If we are changing the magnitude of the wave vector, then that method is called as the Laue method. Whereas if we change the direction of the wave vector, then that method is called as the rotating crystal method or the Debye-Scherrer method. So basically we are relaxing the constraint imposed on k by varying its wavelength or by changing the direction of the wave vector k. One method where we vary the magnitude of the k or change the wavelength is called as the Laue method, and the other method where we change the direction of the wave vector k is called as the rotating crystal method or the Debye-Scherrer method. And in order to visualize these two methods, the Uhold construction plays a very important role. So what is the Uhold sphere? Now let us have a look. So the Uhold sphere is constructed in the reciprocal space. Suppose this is the reciprocal lattice points. These are the reciprocal lattice point. Here k is the wave vector and k prime is the scattered wave vector. K is the incident wave vector, k prime is the scattered wave vector. If we construct a sphere by keeping this point O as the origin and the radius of the sphere is k, then if the sphere is going to intersect any of this lattice point in the reciprocal space, then the condition for diffraction will be satisfied. And this particular sphere is called as the Uhold sphere. So what is the Uhold sphere? It is the sphere in the reciprocal space with a radius of the magnitude of the wave vector. And whenever the sphere is going to pass through the reciprocal lattice point, this condition of maximum intensity or the diffraction maxima is going to be satisfied, and we will see the corresponding diffraction pattern. That's why this sphere is called as the Uhold sphere and plays a very important role in visualizing the diffraction method, whether we are doing it by changing the wave vector magnitude or by changing the direction of the wave vector. Now let us come to the Laue method, where basically we are going to change the magnitude of the wave vector. That means we are changing the corresponding incident wavelength. Suppose the wavelength change is from lambda minimum to lambda maximum. What does it mean? Basically we are changing the Uhold sphere radius from 1 by lambda max to 1 by lambda minimum. And when we scan it, we can have a different Uhold spheres ranging from 2 pi by lambda max to 2 pi by lambda minimum, and any of these spheres is going to intersect the reciprocal lattice points. So whenever it is going to intersect the reciprocal lattice point, we can observe the corresponding Bragg peak. If the window is very large, then we will observe so many Bragg diffraction peaks, and if it is very less, then we may miss some of the important diffraction peak. So you have to choose this window of the wavelength very carefully, so that we can scan it through the optimal range in order to observe the required number of Bragg peaks. And this method is mostly useful to determine the orientation of a single crystal with a known structure. The next method, that is the rotating crystal method. Basically we use a monochromatic beam of X-rays and we change its direction. By changing its direction, you are going to change the direction of the wave vector k. But in practice, instead of changing the direction of the X-ray source, we change the orientation of the crystal. We do not change the direction of the X-ray beam, rather we change the orientation of the crystal. It results in a change in the wave vector k direction. As the crystal will rotate about some fixed axis, corresponding to this, the reciprocal lattice will also rotate about the same fixed axis, and in this case the evolved sphere is going to be fixed in the k space. But while we are rotating the crystal about a fixed axis, during each rotation the reciprocal lattice point will traverse a particular circle, and whenever this circle will intersect the evolved sphere, we will observe the Bragg reflection. So by changing the reciprocal lattice particular direction, we are going to make a particular circle, and this circle is going to intersect the evolved sphere, and we know whenever it is going to intersect the evolved sphere, the Bragg reflection will take place, and we can record that. This is one of the ideal technique to study the structure of the single crystal, and is widely used to study the structure of the single crystals. Another very popular method is called as the Debye-Scherrer or the powder method, and this is mostly used to study the polycrystalline solid. In this case, what we do, it is almost equivalent to the rotating crystal method, but in addition to this rotating crystal method, where we rotate the crystal about a fixed axis, but in this case the axis of rotation is also varied over all possible orientation. So the axis is not fixed here, so it is varied over all the possible orientation, so that we can observe the corresponding diffraction peaks for all the possible orientation present in the polycrystalline sample. So these are the three important methods or the geometries using which we can study the diffraction pattern. That is the Laue method, the rotating crystal method, and the Debye-Scherrer method. In the Laue method, we change the magnitude of the wave vector, whereas in rotating crystal method and Debye-Scherrer method, we change the direction of the wave vector, because either we have to change the magnitude or the direction. If you keep the vector k to be constant, then in most of the cases we will not have any kind of diffraction pattern, and we will be missing all the diffraction peaks.